Hello everybody, welcome back. A little bit of bad news or whatever after us starting it. So I had it running and everything. You know, it was humming along okay, but it had a little misfire to it the whole time. So I wish I would have made a video of it running and idling more, and that's my fault. I was not even thinking or whatever. So I got her back in the garage. You know, the garage is shame. But I have a feeling with the misfire and the compression was at about 365 to 350 psi, and that the piston rings are either frozen or something is going on inside this head or whatever. I'm not sure what's going on. So a little bit more backstory. So I put a little electric fuel pump on it to pump the fuel through. I run sea foam through the engine, and got that cleaned out. It improved a little bit, but not really all that great. And I had the injection pump. I had that checked over again. I took that to the diesel shop, and they looked at it, and it said it's working fine. Then I did the injectors, as you saw before in the other video that I posted. So the injectors are good. So that's all good. Fuel injection is all good, the fuel system. And so the only thing left to work on is the engine itself. And I think the lower end is good. The top end is where I think we're having our problem here with the pistons and cylinders or whatever, and the piston rings. So I'm gonna pull the head off. You can see I already got the manifold off. And sorry I'm babbling so much, but I'm trying to catch you guys back up in the videos here. So I got the manifold off. I got the ejector pipes off. And I drained the coolant already, took the hose off. So now I'm going to start working on getting the head, taking these off, and also the valve cover. The valve cover's already, it's loose. It can come right off. It's off. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be doing that and I'll film this along the way as we're going, and we'll do the head reveal as we're coming off here. Okay, update. So I got all the bolts loose on the head, and I kind of used the pattern in the book, the tight down pattern. They say start in the middle and then work your way out this way, and an X pattern. So that's what I did to loosen up the bolts. So now I'm going to take the rocker arms off, and that was basically, it has some head bolts here that are down in, and then you have these little retainer ones right here. So they're all should be loose right now. So I'm going to pull the rocker arm assembly off. Okay, there's the rocker arm assembly. The long bolts there, the head bolts. The actually head bolts down through the rocker arms. So I'm going to take this over to workbench. So the next thing I got is a cardboard box. I got front written on here. I'm going to take the push rod tubes here. Not push rod tubes. That's Volkswagens. Push rods themselves out. You can see, take one at a time. I'm going to stick it in the box. Oh. You can see there. I put it right here, so the front is the front, so I put them back into the same place they were. They all seem to be pretty straight so far, so that's a good thing. None of those are bent. They're all straight. So I'm doing this just to check to make sure what's going on in this engine, because I have no idea. It said it was rebuilt back in the 90s, but we're going to see. It's actually rebuilt from Rover's North, is what the receipt said when I bought it. But back in early 90s, like 92, 93, it was rebuilt. So you can see they're all coming out okay. They're all looking straight. No curves or bends or anything. Last one. Yeah, that looks straight too. Okay, so the push rods themselves look good. You can see I got them all on there with the front pointing forward. Alright, so I put the rocker over on the workbench, had to make some room. So now I'm going to take all the bolts out of this. So we know all these ones go over here on this side. They're all the same length, you can see. Pretty neat how they have a step up at the top and they're stepped out on the bottom. See that? Pretty cool. Alright. So these ones back here are loose. That one's a nut here, it's still on. Take that off. Okay, so back here, don't forget to disconnect your oil feed over here. So let's see here. Take these all out. And let me see if I can lift this thing off. Holy moly. Oh, holy cow. Wish that stud back there would have come off. Oh my, holy cow. There's oil all over inside there. I think I'm gonna have to go get some assistance to get this thing off. Okay, so I got the head off. I had to get in there and actually lift it up out with my shoulder and side or whatever to get it out. So it's looking pretty crusty so far, just by the initial look at it. I don't know if a lot of this was just run down from the head whenever I lifted it apart, but it doesn't look like it was blowing through or anything. You can see where I wiped here. It's looking pretty clean. Looking pretty good so far. Doesn't look like it's broken through, but it's definitely like these pieces here, these parts. Now I'll take the camera and get you in there closer to take a better look at it. I'll take the valve, take the cover off. We'll give this a clean and take a closer look at it here. So there's the top part of the engine. So I got the head off, and then I started wiping off the head a little bit. I noticed all these holes, these coolant holes, they're all pretty much clogged going around on the head underneath here. So I cleaned them out. I put a screwdriver in there and kind of pried out like a little angle screwdriver and tried to clean out the grooves here. I'll see if maybe I'll run some water down through here. And since I got the drain plug open, I put a little bit of water down through there to try to rinse those out. So let's go over to the workbench where I got the head. Alright, so now we're talking about the coolant again or whatever. I'm glad I ended up pulling the head off of this thing, because you can see here this coolant hole, I just poked this clean with this. You can see all the other ones are completely clogged, or pretty much filled in. I don't think that's a coolant hole, but these ones here, they're all pretty nasty. So I'm going to clean all these ones out too. So I don't even know if there is, even over here too, look at that one. It's pretty nasty there. And it's like hard too, so it's not like any coolant was going through there, but it pops right off the dirt. So I'm going to be cleaning all this up next too, cleaning up the orifice that's inside of here. Maybe I'll try to run a little bit of water through there, or some type of cleaner, or maybe some carb cleaner or something to get down through there, see if it'll pour out any dirt. Look at all that nastiness inside there. Boy, am I glad I took this head off. I would have sooner or later I would have had to do it, so I might as well do it now. And that was just a spot there. But over here, check this out. Yeah, it's just filled with nastiness inside there. So I'm not even sure how much coolant was actually going through the head at all. Besides the top piece of it, maybe the center of it was cooling it, but the outsides were definitely not getting any coolant through there. It's almost like, you look here, like these pieces coming out, it's dried up coolant basically, or rust and dirt, and this is actually feels like a rock. You see it falling apart. So if you don't already know, this truck has been sitting in a field on a farm since 1994 was the last inspection, or the MOT for you guys. So this is just coolant that's been sitting there for, what, 25 years basically. So I'm glad I took the head off or whatever. So I'm going to continue cleaning and cleaning this up. Okay, so we got the oil pan off and off the Rover, and we got the garage dog helping tonight. Say hello to Eddie. So anyways, we got the oil pan off. So let's go down underneath and I'll show you what's going on underneath, what we're going to be doing next. Alright, so what we have here now, this is the oil pump, and we're going to be taking this off so then I can reach up to the connecting rods up here to disconnect them or whatever. So this only has 2 bolts that are on the other side that should take this whole assembly out in one piece. I don't think I need to take the screen off to get to the bolts, but we'll see or whatever. But I have a feeling it'll all come out with a couple turns of 2 bolts and the whole assembly will pop out. So that's what I'm going to do now. After looking around down there underneath the engine, all I did was I took the screen off, the oil pump screen, because then I still had plenty of room to get around underneath there. I'll show you here in a sec. Alright, so looking down underneath, the screen goes in right here, and it was sitting right here kind of in the way. So now, without the screen, I can reach all the bolts. I can reach all the bolts here to get to the connecting rods. And I can reach the ones on the other side too without taking the oil pump off. So I'm just going to leave the oil pump on and not mess around with it. So next thing I'm going to do is use a 9/16 and break these loose. And you can see these ones, the outer 2 over here, you can see it over there, I don't know. Over there, they're pushed up right now. So I'm going to loosen these guys up. And then while they're up at the top, I can push them out through the top, because they're almost to the top up there. And then these ones I'll spin and rotate it up, and then I'll loosen these ones up next. So that's what I'm going to work on next. I'm going to take these off and get the caps off. So I took the caps off of all 4 of them, and I did the first piston over here, and then I realized I didn't clean this edge up around inside here. And this edge here gets like a little piece of carbon around the top. It's like a top ring of carbon at the top here. So what I did is, for this one, I kind of got it stuck in there trying to get it out. So I had to hit it pretty hard to get it up and out. But once it got out, it came out with no problem. But then I cleaned up all these edges here. So what I did is took some lacquer thinner and a razor blade and kind of cleaned and scraped all this around, and then went underneath and pushed the pistons out. So this one's the last one, and I cleaned this one too, so you can see what it looks like when it comes out. Pull it straight out, and there you have your piston and connecting rod on the bottom. Make sure you don't lose your bearing coming through or anything like that, so it comes out with it. So I got the caps still laying underneath the engine, but I have them in order. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, or wait, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know, whatever way the pistons go. But I think this is 1. So I have them in order right now. So I'm going to clean these up. I'm going to take them over to the workbench and we'll take a closer look at them. I'm going to stop this video right here. So this is basically a teardown video of the start off of the repairs that we plan on doing here or whatever. So we'll go over this a little bit more in the next videos. We'll do a little series on this. I'll probably do a video on the pistons, talk about the piston rings and everything like that or whatever, and cleaning those up. Then we're going to take apart the head and we're going to be lapping the valves, because while it's out I might as well do it. And then also the head gasket as well. We'll be probably looking at that or whatever. So I'm going to start recording things about this or whatever. So pay attention. I mean, follow along. I hope you join us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Stay awesome. Thank you very much for always commenting. And have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.